Hi, my name is Alex Williams. I'm the head of animation at Escape Studios, the founder of the online animation school Animation Apprentice, and I also run the online MA in 3D animation at Bucks New University. And one of the questions I often get asked about my working in the industry is, what was it like to work on the Iron Giant with the now legendary Brad Bird? And I got to say, working on the Iron Giant was one of the best experiences of my career. It was a terrific film and a film that we all had a real sense would be a really, really good movie. And it's actually surprisingly infrequent that you get that feeling quite so strongly. I can remember it on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where we all had this very powerful sense that we were working on something that was really, really good, something that would change the industry for the better, and something that would be a big success. And I also had the same feeling on The Lion King, though not to the same degree. We didn't know it was going to be this monster blockbuster, but I can remember on The Lion King seeing the first sequence, the Circle of Life sequence in storyboards, and thinking, okay, they've got something here. This could really work. On the Iron Giant, it was a little different. We had all come off Quest for Camelot at Warner Brothers Feature Animation, and that was a film that had a lot of problems. It was actually really fun to work on. I got to do the villain, Ruba. You can see him over there in the corner. Still got the bust. The art department used to make those maquettes so that we could turn them and get the drawing right, so you could get the angle of the character correct. And so that was a film with a lot of problems. It was fun to work on, but it didn't do particularly well and had some flaws. So coming onto the Iron Giant was like this big breath of fresh air for everyone, and we were really excited to go onto it, and Brad was a very inspiring leader. Now at that stage, Brad hadn't really, he'd done Family Dog TV show, but he hadn't made a feature film. He'd not done a feature film, and yet there was this sense on that production that that Brad was he was this inspiring leader, and we had confidence in him. He spoke with confidence. He talked with confidence, he directed with confidence, he was very much at the heart of the writing team, writing the script, and we knew that he would make good choices and strong choices. And so when I remember seeing the first story reel for the film, and they did a really nice job on the story reel. It was especially for its time, it had a lot of motion graphics work in it. They really tried to make the story reel impressive, and anyone who's directed an animated film, especially an animated feature film, you will know how tough the storyboard stage is, because you're making your film 90 minutes long or 80 minutes long or whatever it is, and with animation you pre-edit, right? You make the film in storyboards, and then once that's approved, you go ahead and animate it, because it's too expensive to animate it and then cut like you would in live action. In live action you shoot hours of footage and then assemble it. You can't do that with animation. So you start with these boards, and boards are difficult to look at. It's difficult to watch 80 minutes of really good animation, of animated storyboards, and not be bored, right? B-O-R-E-D as opposed to B-O-A-R-D, right? It's just tough, and you've not got the real actors' voices, because you haven't recorded them yet. You've just got this scratch dialogue, and it's tough. But they pulled it off. They really did this amazing job with the storyboard animatic. And working for Brad was a pleasure, because it's actually quite rare. You'd be surprised how rare it is to work for an animation director who not only knows exactly what he wants, but can clearly explain to you how to get there. So he knows what he wants, and he knows how to tell you what he wants, and that's not that usual. And what Brad would do is, for animation dailies, he would broadcast, he would project the animator's work onto a big whiteboard, or a big wall, basically a big white wall, and then with a dry erase marker would draw over your drawings. And so you'd be sitting there in animation dailies with 40 other animators, and that feeling of nakedness, of kind of professional anxiety, never really goes away. You've got the sweat rolling down your back of your neck, not necessarily physically, but metaphorically, and you're thinking, is he going to like it? Is he going to like it? Am I going to? And Brad would go up, and he'd look at your work, and he'd say, and he'd just draw right over it and say, no, I don't like this pose. Here's another pose, or what about this pose here? And that was amazing, because you had a clear visual representation, not just of what it was that he didn't like, but a representation of exactly what it was that he did like. and did want, and that is very unusual. So I would say that of the sort of 3 or 4 really top experiences that I've had, things like The Thief and the Cobbler, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Lion King, The Iron Giant is definitely up there with the best of them. And then, of course, there's the fact that the movie didn't do as well at the box office as we all hoped. In fact, it was a box office flop, and you can never really get away from that. But nonetheless, it was a great movie. It does feature in many top 100 movies of all time list, and deservedly so. And the experience of working on it was one of the best of my career.